We work hard to keep our water and sanitary sewer infrastructure in good shape so that everyone in our community has access to clean water and reliable sewer services. It's a big job, and we provide those services to over 320,000 people across 11 communities. So how does the city pay for all that? It might surprise you, but we don't use taxes to fund our water and sewer systems. Instead, customers pay set rates for using these services. Those rates have to pay for each entire system. How do we decide what the rates should be? Every July, we start putting together our annual water and sewer rate study. The study is made up of many parts, but it's essentially a review of operating costs and capital costs, combined with a count of active meters and volume used. This helps us determine the rates, which are divided into two parts. The Readiness to Serve charge, or RTS, is based on meter size and customer service support. The commodity charge is based on consumption, how much water is used or how much sewage is produced. Some years we reduce rates and other years we adjust rates up. We've used this uniform rate-setting methodology since 1976, but the systems themselves have been evolving since even earlier. In 1850, the first water pipes used in Grand Rapids were just hollowed-out logs. By the early 1880s, the city began to use cast-iron pipes to distribute water. Originally, that water came from a filtration plant right in downtown Grand Rapids, along the Grand River. In 1962, we built a new filtration plant on the shore of Lake Michigan, pumping treated water to the city. The downtown plant closed in 1989, so now all of our water comes straight from Lake Michigan. The city has owned and operated the entire water system in Grand Rapids since 1920, and improvements haven't stopped since. Today, our water mains safely transport billions of gallons of potable water to 320,000 customers annually. And what about the sewage system? How has that changed over time? Our sewer mains transport billions of gallons of sewage annually to our water resource recovery facility on Market Avenue, where it's cleaned and returned back to the Grand River. The wastewater treatment facility was built back in 1931, but it's regularly updated and expanded as our population grows. To help manage the increase in sewage, the city started building 3 biodigesters in 2015, which also convert some of our waste byproducts into renewable energy. Moving billions of gallons means we need reliable and safe infrastructure, and our annual rate study is done to ensure that we have the money to properly address repairs, conduct maintenance, and make improvements, as well as safely operate the systems for necessary treatments. We have separated stormwater drains from nearly all sanitary sewers, replaced miles of water and sanitary sewer pipes, and we continue to work on system infrastructure and treatment improvements. The rate study helps us determine what future costs may be and how much income is needed to cover those costs over the next few years. So who exactly is paying these rates? Those costs are paid for by the users of both the water and sewer systems, respectively. The system supports Grand Rapids and 11 partner communities at this time. Users of each system include residents, businesses, and industries. There are 2 community types within the system: retail and wholesale communities. First, let's look at retail communities. The City of Grand Rapids maintains the system assets for retail communities and bills users directly for charges based on consumption and readiness to serve, or RTS. On the wholesale side, charges are assessed directly to the community as a whole, based on usage measured through a master meter at the point of service, and a readiness to serve charge. The individual community maintains their own assets and bills their users directly. An example of this is Ada Township, who is a wholesale partner. If you live in Ada, your water and sewage bill will come directly from Ada Township. In turn, Ada will pay Grand Rapids for all the water consumed and sewage generated by its residents, along with the readiness to serve charge. Each partner community has a revenue requirement built on their expenses. This includes expenses related to maintenance, assets, day-to-day operations, and other miscellaneous items. Other revenues get allocated to the partner communities to help reduce rates. These include other operating revenue, penalty revenue, and billed volume usage. Other operating revenues, known as revenue credits, are revenues other than charges for service. This includes permit revenue, inspection fees, and meter setting fees, to name a few. There's also the City and Customer Community Circuit Breaker, which is a fancy way of saying that penalty revenue collected from retail communities is allocated back to them to help reduce rates. A portion of late fees are also used to help people who need financial assistance, and if that applies to you, please call 311 or 616-456-3000 for more information. Lastly, billed volume measures the usage and number of meters in each partner community. In 2010, the city started using a 3-year average of billed volume, rather than just looking at usage in a single year. This smooths out changes in consumption that might create large swings in the rates. When it comes to reviewing expenses, we look at the costs of regular operations and maintenance, along with the expenses related to assets. When assets are put into service, their cost is allocated to ratepayers based on their useful life. For example, a newly built water main will account for depreciation and return on investment over the pipe's useful life of 75 years. To keep things fair, each community pays for assets and service within their boundaries, such as a water main specific to Grand Rapids residents. Any work done on shared assets, otherwise known as the integrated system, is spread across all system users. Integrated assets include the Lake Michigan filtration plant for the water system and the wastewater resource recovery facility for the sewer system. The revenue requirement balances the revenue and expense sources along with the number of meters and a 3-year average of usage to determine rates. We do our best to manage expenses and revenues so your rates don't change drastically from year to year. The average change for water services over the last 15 years is just under 2%. The average change for sewer services over the same time period is a little over 4%. Those changes have funded necessary fixes, environmental improvements, and recovery projects that will save money in the long run. There are many factors that determine what our water and sewer rates will be for the year. As you've seen, it's a complex balancing act. We're dedicated to providing safe, clean water and safe, reliable sewer service to you and to our partner communities while planning for the future. We are also dedicated to keeping you informed about our decisions and how they're made. This is where the Utility Advisory Board, or UAB, comes in. The UAB consists of representatives from each partner community, but it's also open to the public. They meet monthly to review matters that impact the water and sewer rates for all customers. The preliminary rate study is presented to the Grand Rapids City Commission at the beginning of each November, which then kicks off a 20-day public comment period. The UAB will also review the study and discuss the recommended rate changes in the 3rd week of November. While you're always welcome at UAB or Commission meetings, we also welcome input and feedback online. Email comments to watercs@grcity.us. If you'd like to see the rate studies themselves or are looking for additional resources on the studies, visit our website here.